WTOL-TV, Toledo. Straight from the newsroom, this is Toledo 11 News.
Just another day on the job for a YMCA worker.
Until she came across this.
Were set up and students were painting welcome signs.
It wasn't quite the thrill of the open road, more like the parking lot of Perrysburg Commons.
It will make us fit you.
Just about the only event making news today.
2,000 carryout orders were handled.
Hi there and welcome to the WTOL 11 Vault with Dan Cummins. Dan is on assignment this week. Dan is played by Jeff Smith. Filling in as we crank up the time machine and rewind to the week of March 29th, 1989. Whew, 1989. You could picture it, right? Big hair, bigger shoulder pads, and even bigger Wrestlemania showdowns. Let's talk about music. Tom Petty, Full Moon Fever, The Cure, Disintegration, Motley Crue, Dr. Feelgood. Remember all that? Remember those compact discs that were sold in those oversized cardboard boxes? Well, this week we are talking booming auto sales, a creative push for police recruiting, and the fate of a local drive-in theater. Plus, a truck stop mall rolls into town. April Fool's jokes keep folks on their toes. And wrestling fans are still buzzing from the battle on the grandest stage of them all. So grab that new Coke if you dare, and let's jump back into the headlines of '89.
911, what is your emergency?
911 operators determine the type of problem, then notify proper authorities.
Drive-ins peaked years ago. The days of filling the 700-car lot are long gone.
They call and they ask for Miss Ellie Font or Mr. Rick Coon, Harry Bear.
Is this wrestling or is this wrestling?
Yeah, Willie!
Willie the Wolverine is pumping up the people of Ann Arbor.
It's the Michigan basketball program's first national championship, and even the football team, which won 8 national championships between 1901 and 1948, was on hand.
Developers of the mall also hope to attract local residents and travelers, but its bread and butter will be the trucker.
We start on March 29th, 1989. The Honda Accord is the best-selling passenger car in the U.S., and a cassette deck inside might be playing the Billboard Top 100 #1 song. You ready for this? It was Debbie Gibson's ballad, Lost in Your Eyes. It was a week when car dealers said it was a good time to buy. And it was a time when Hyundai was bringing something new to Northwest Ohio. Dick Berry and Mike O'Connell with the reports.
Rising interest rates have stalled new auto sales. The publication Bank Rate Monitor reports loan rates at banks rose this week to 12.5%. Last year at this time, the figure was 10.8%.
But in the recent weeks, I think with the prime rate going up and it's on the news every day, and I think the public is much more aware of it. They were just, say, 2-3 years ago. And the floor traffic we've seen a decrease in that.
Ford hopes to reverse that trend by drastically lowering rates on its own financing program. For example, short-term loans of 2.9%. Not a bad deal when you consider Ford usually charges 12 to 13%.
It'll save you $25 to $30 a month on a $10,000 loan. I think the new rates are just an extra stimulus to get people back in the buying mode.
74% of the cars, 58% of the trucks Ford expects to sell are covered by the new program. Rebates of up to $1,000 are also offered.
Now's the time to buy a car, that's absolutely for sure. Spring market's here, your other car is going to be worth a little bit more, and with that 2.9% interest, a true manufacturer program, now's the time to purchase an automobile.
Ford's program runs through May 31st, and Kirk Stump says it's just a matter of time before other automakers jump on the rate-slashing bandwagon. Dick Berry, Toledo 11 News.
No, I won't. We're open.
It looks like the opening of any other car dealership, and the sales pitch sounds pretty much the same too.
What attracted me the most is the quality of the car, the price of the car,
and the company itself.
But something's different here. Westside Hyundai is Toledo's first Korean car dealership. Hyundai started selling cars in the U.S. in 1986, 2 years after a very successful move into the Canadian market. In Canada, Hyundai quickly stole a significant share of the Japanese market, and Hyundai has similar plans for the U.S.
And all I can say is the Japanese had better watch out because we're here to win.
And business analysts say it's not all just talk.
They've done very well in Canada, and they could do very well here. They have basically a world-class car. So I think the Koreans have learned their lessons well from the Japanese.
Japanese management techniques and technology plus lower labor costs mean the price tag is reasonable. All that attracted Rick Austin to Hyundai after 14 years of selling Pontiacs, Hondas, and Mazdas.
Honda Motor Company came in the United States 10, 12 years ago. They started out very successful and still are successful today. I personally think this is the new Honda.
And Hyundai is starting out just like most Japanese car makers, with economy cars. Experts say if they find success here, they could move into larger cars just like the Japanese.
Let's move on in the vault to March 30th, 1989. That is just 4 years after the Ohio legislature passed a bill to create a statewide 911 emergency phone service. And it was just 1 month after Lucas County started taking its own calls. Dick Berry once again checking in to see how the system was working.
911, what is your emergency?
911 operators determine the type of problem, then notify proper authorities. Since going online, more calls have been received than expected. The only hang-ups so far have involved computer bugs.
We had one crash, which lasted about 2 minutes, and we had programmers on site, and they corrected that immediately. In fact, it was a programmer's problem. He typed in the wrong command and made the computer go down.
620-257 is complaining on that missing at the Harris McIntosh. They can tell you where to go.
Toledo police say it's too early to tell if response time has improved. But 911 allows the division to better manage crews out on the street, tell where they are with more accuracy.
We can look at our resources if we need to preempt a crew off of a lesser priority call for a higher priority call. We can determine that much more quickly than we would before.
For now, cellular phone calls are not being accepted. It's not easy pinpointing a moving object, and liability is the concern.
The caller would have to tell us where he's located, and for example, I can take myself again. I'm about Monroe County somewhere. I see an incident, I may not know exactly where I'm at. It's coming in here, and it really caused a lot of grief for our call takers.
As with any new operation, glitches are expected, but after handling 20,000 calls during the first month of operation, Tom Bodai says 911 is running about as smoothly as possible.
Dick Berry with that report. 1989 marked 5 years since the band The Police had broken up. But the real-life Police from Dallas headed to Toledo on March 31st of that year. They were on a mission to recruit officers from the Glass City. But Linda Joyce and Julie Malkin found out most officers preferred to stay close to home.
The Dallas Police Department, with 2,100 employees, 3 times the size of Toledo's, is hiring. At present, there are 219 openings, and in October, there will be 150 more. That Texas city is growing, and with new companies coming to town, many job applicants are pursuing avenues other than law enforcement.
All these are bringing people to the Dallas area because of the quality of life, lifestyle in the Texas area. And we have to find police officers to work these neighborhoods. So that's basically why we're trying to recruit at such a high number that we are.
Shannon spent the last week talking to would-be recruits throughout Ohio, all about the pluses of moving to Dallas and becoming a police officer. Henry Smith says he wants to work.
So you have to look for work wherever you can't find it.
You don't mind going to Dallas?
I don't know, it'd be a good change of pace.
Negative impacts of what's going on in Toledo right now has people wondering here whether or not it's secure to stay around, I suppose.
If applicants pass the initial questionnaire, they're welcome to head to Dallas to take a week's worth of tests, expenses to be paid for by the applicant. The recruiters say 10% of all the out-of-state applicants that come looking for jobs will become officers in Dallas. Linda Joyce, Toledo 11 News.
It's almost time to hit the beat for these second-shift Toledo police officers. Roll call means focusing on crime in Toledo and getting ready to try to beat it. Hardly anybody even noticed the Dallas police recruiting going on just a few blocks away.
We recruit all over the country, and it's not unusual. Police agencies do that. They'll often have enough responses in their own towns, and they'll go all around the country, see if they can drum up people.
Many of these officers are from Northwest Ohio, and the family ties are worth more than an opportunity to move to a bigger city. They also say fighting big city crime is no enticement.
The city's large enough to be a big city, yet it's small enough to be a small city. We don't have the problems that Dallas or New York or Chicago has.
Why do you think an officer might want to go to someplace like Dallas?
You got me, they shoot them up down there regularly.
Toledo's proximity to Detroit and increasing drug problems right here are more than enough of a challenge.
A couple of officers said privately that, yes, they might consider jobs in other cities because of the strictness of the Toledo force. But they wouldn't go on camera for fear of retribution and sacrificing their job security here in Toledo. Julie Malkin, Toledo 11 News.
All right, we're going to head way back for this next one, back to 1949. It is a time when the films like All the King's Men were winning awards, and the Parkside Drive-In opened in Oregon. Now, the name has since changed to Sundance, and the movies of today have a few more special effects in them. But on March 31st, 1989, Mike O'Connell took us out for a night under the stars, maybe to see that week's top movie, Twins.
No, their car didn't break down at an abandoned drive-in. Ken Davis and Cheryl Burghardt are at the Sundance Kid Drive-In for the first movie of the season. Even though the temperature's in the 30s, snow's in the forecast, and the show doesn't start for almost an hour, this couple wouldn't miss opening night.
You can smoke your cigarettes for one, big one. Do whatever you want. You don't have to worry about people sitting next to you. You're in your own car.
There's your change and more radio sound at 5:30 a.m. Okay, thank you. Have a good evening.
Drive-ins peaked years ago. The days of filling the 700-car lot are long gone. But business was up last year, and management is optimistic.
Hopefully we'll have a good season. I mean, we're the only two theaters in the Toledo area now.
Before the movie starts, 4 other cars join Ken and Cheryl. The concession stand is quiet, but the show must go on.
Sit back and enjoy the show.
The first movie on the bill is My Stepmother's an Alien. Not a first-run film, but many people never went to drive-ins to watch the movie anyway. Seeing a movie at a drive-in is a lot different than seeing one at a theater. It's a much more private experience that you share with the person that you're with, and you don't have to worry about being bothered by strangers. Isn't that right, Ken and Cheryl?
Yes.
In an era of VCRs, there really is something neat about seeing a movie not just out, but outside. And young people still know that, even if they never experienced the 40s and 50s.
At the end of the movies, we have to chase cars out of here, you know, because they don't know the movie's over. Their windows are fogged up or whatever, and we go up, knock on the windows, movie's over, we'd like to go home.
And Lot hopes they're still sending couples home from the Sundance in the 21st century.
I love it. All right, we're going to go to April 1st. No joke, 1989. That would have been a joke. April Fool's Day, a time when some Toledoans kept an old prank alive. You see, every year, the Toledo Zoo gets calls from people asking for Harry Lion. Of course, the prank, it's a name that doesn't exist.
Well, basically, they call and they ask for Miss Ellie Font or Mr. Rick Coon, Harry Bear.
And what do you tell them?
Well, they find it hard to believe that somebody's actually playing a joke on them.
Hi, is your refrigerator running? You better go catch it. The joke has been around for years, similar to asking for alligator or bobcat. Zoo staff said that they are used to it and they took it all in good fun. All right, enough fooling around. It's time to get serious, brother. We're talking pay-per-view, Hulk Hogan, Randy the Macho Man Savage. Oh boy, WrestleMania 5. The question, what's really wrestling? Julie Malkin, she set out to find out.
Is this wrestling or is this wrestling? About 2,000 Greco-Roman wrestling fans at today's World Cup finals say there's no competition between the men hitting these mats and the stars hitting the ring in WrestleMania today.
This is real for
for the way they move around, and in big time wrestling, you cannot move like that and not get hurt.
This is the real stuff. It's the only big difference. This is real, the other one's just all fake.
But apparently not everyone is a sports purist. The people taking orders at Buckeye Cablevision say about 3,000 people signed up to watch Wrestlemania.
Okay, the event will be on channel 21B at 4 o'clock today.
Okay, I did tell you that the event's $39.95, right?
And you should have Atlantic, something about Atlantic City on there, and Wrestlemania.
The World Wrestling Federation may not be athletic competition at its finest. Even the WWF admits it's as much entertainment as sports. But plenty of people are willing to shell out up to $40 to have a good time as the Hulk tries to beat Randy Savage.
There really isn't any comparison, actually. This is pure, total entertainment. It's just like nothing compared to the high school and World Cup. Nothing at all.
Here in 2025, we are right in the middle of March Madness, and whether your bracket is busted or booming maybe, it's still the same spectacle it was in 1989. And sorry, Ohio State fans, 1989, if you'll recall, was all about the maize and blue. The Wolverines of Michigan, they took home the NCAA championship on April 3rd. Evan Rosen and Mike O'Connell, they take us to the big win and an even bigger celebration.
Yeah, Willie! Yeah, oh, what a pass! Yeah!
Willie the Wolverine is pumping up the people of Ann Arbor. The smell of ultimate victory is spreading through this college town, and almost everybody wants a whiff. The news is out, and so are the souvenir hawkers.
Oh, they're down. They're cheaper. They're $8 now for the T-shirts.
Toledo and Anita Miller stands to win if Michigan wins.
They're going to go crazy. It's going to be, we're going to probably end up selling out. Won't have enough of them for everybody.
But for some, the victory has been less than sweet. After Saturday's game, a disturbance broke out along the street, and now some shopkeepers are planning to remove their wares from windows. While the celebrating vandals have mostly stayed on the streets, one angry shopkeeper says the damage has spread to stores.
They came out of the bars Saturday night smashing light posts and windows. Turn it around. What if that was their hometown? And it was their dad's business that had a window smash. Their dad is running a business to put them through school.
Ann Arbor sign crews are fixing what victory has broken, and they're leaving a message to the vandals that's clear and loud. Evan Rosen, Toledo 11 News in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
It's the Michigan basketball program's first national championship, and even the football team, which won 8 national championships between 1901 and 1948, was on hand to celebrate the team members as they were introduced one by one to 10,000 screaming Chrysler Arena fans.
Number 21, Romeo Robinson. Senior co-captain number 41, Glenn Wright.
Only Final Four MVP Rice got a bigger hand than interim coach Steve Fisher, who was starting to sound like Michigan's permanent coach.
We can unfurl and have the official celebration or declaration of that banner when we kick Notre Dame on our football weekend.
I want to give my greatest regards to Coach Fisher because I think in the time of adversity, he did a great job in stepping forward.
On campus Tuesday night, things were starting to return to as normal as they get on college campuses. The Fiji fraternity was busy inviting dates to its spring formal, but they say they'll always remember Monday's victory.
When you're here and it's your only 4 years here, and out of that 4 years you win the national championship, no one else takes it like that.
Our basketball team went to national championships, and we won all the way, and I don't think there's anything stopping us now. I think we're, the spirit of the school is high as ever right now.
Even Bo Schembechler seems to have been inspired by the basketball team.
And they've showed us that a national championship is possible. By God, we might do it in football, too.
Kind of like a prophet right there. Boy, I'll tell you what, I remember it was like sticking a dagger in the heart of my father that year because he raised me an Ohio State fan. And I remember going and buying a Michigan t-shirt because I loved Glenn Rice and watching that team play. All right, let's move on. Enough about me. Now to April 5th, 1989. It was a time when the alt-rock wave was really starting to swell, and the mall was a cool place to hang out. But there was a new mall coming to town, something different, a place that Dick Barry told us about from North Baltimore.
It's all a trucker needs, all under one roof, all in one stop. The Buckeye Travelers Mall, 12 stores, 2 restaurants.
It gives the trucker a lot more convenience, easier access, because in most towns you can't park a semi.
Like any other truck stop, dozens of big 18-wheelers line up for fuel. Inside, though, you can get a trim, buy a set of tools, pick up a pair of boots, or have them shined. A dressing room with a private shower is free with every fill-up. A phone is found at every table inside the restaurant.
A trucker doesn't drive 6 days a week and then goes shopping on Sunday. He shops as he tours the highways, and wherever he stops, he's a potential customer.
This is the 5th trucker mall Yeseshko has developed. Cost of the 30,000 square foot project is $5 million. All the stores here are part of a chain except for the Country Traveler. Its owner has other similar craft shops in Findlay and Grand Rapids.
We thought it was a tremendous idea to have this kind of facility, both for traveling public and truckers, and we wanted to be a part of it.
Developers of the mall also hope to attract local residents and travelers, but its bread and butter will be the trucker. Expansion plans already called for a 92-unit motel.
That's a wrap on this week's trip through the WTOL 11 vault. Whether you were cruising car lots, watching Hulkamania run wild, or falling for a good old-fashioned April Fool's prank, it was a week full of big moves and big laughs. And since Dan couldn't be here with us this week, we had to leave you with one last bit. Here's Dan Cummins from April 1st, 1996.
NCAA Finals tonight on the News Channel, Kentucky and Syracuse. Fun begins at 9. Could big-time basketball be coming to Toledo very soon? Davis College hasn't had the sport since the 1970s, but the News Channel has learned the Knights are coming back. In 2 years, Davis will play Division I basketball, and they're going to apply to the Big Ten. Compete alongside other great academic institutions like Northwestern and Michigan and Ohio State. Kevin Lambert, president of Davis College, says a $47 million sports complex will be built this summer on the campus at Monroe Street and Sylvania Avenue, right in the parking lot. Davis has a rich tradition of sports going back to the turn of this century till the mid-70s, but Big Ten basketball?
Well, Dan, one night I had a vision that if we build it, they will come. And there is not a Big Ten team in this area, and we have Bowling Green and University of Toledo, but I wanted to take Davis College to a higher level.
We've got so much talent, Dan, as you know, covering high school athletics in this town. We can get our local talent right here to compete maybe with the University of Toledo. Who knows? Maybe we'll have the University of Toledo on our schedule.
Tubing will go here for the future hockey arena.
You want hockey here?
Well, we're talking about it, so we want to do the plumbing before we pour the concrete. And then on the first floor will be the basketball arena, and then we'll have a 4-story parking structure on top of the arena.
Carter says he'd like to come back as Davis College basketball coach, but to recruit at the Big Ten level, I think Davis wants a Big Ten coach. More on this story as it develops. Of course, there's no chance that'll happen since the whole thing's our way of celebrating
April Fool!
See, I told you the day was young.
You did it well, though, Dan. You did it with straight face
My
and everything.
thanks to Kevin Lambert and Jerry Carter for going along with the gag.
They did a great job, too.
It was so convincing. I'm not sure. Big-time basketball, Davis College.
Let's just say it again. It's not coming,
The team nickname was the Davis Knights. Night school, Knights years ago.
That's neat.
So convincing. Do you believe anything he tells you now?
The phone calls are going to be pouring into Davis. Thanks, Dan.